Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. I'm your host, Cyberdragon, and today we're going to be. Today I think I want to play around with single player logic and to see how they react and behave in multiplayer experiences. Seeing if we can have individual quests, individual spawners, individual collectibles, individual lights, all that sort of thing. And we'll test it out in a multiplayer experience and see if we can have individual things happening where the other multiplayer players cannot see. And once we worked out that logic, we can work out what sort of game types we can use with that logic. Hope everyone's been well. How has everybody been? I should probably close this window here and keep this one up. Alright, so I've got a question straight off the bat in chat, and it's asking, can you explain more on spawn point and how can a player choose their team? I haven't played around with the spawn point and teams. I know you can create teams here, I think, so maybe team 1 and team 2. But what actually happens is here you can say how many teams you want. So team 1, team 2, team 3. And when players join the experience, while they're loading in, it will allocate them a team automatically. So the players joining can't pick their team. It's randomly chosen while they're loading into the experience. So that's that question answered. So you can't choose their team. The randomness happens while the player is loading in. And when it becomes to spawn in, they all spawn at the this location. So wherever you have this avatar portal, the player will be loading in this location regardless of what team they've been assigned to. I believe though there is teleporting logic or checkpoint logic. Let's have a look. Haven't really played around with this yet, so now's a good time. I don't think it's in here. It might be a component. So we've got teleport avatar, and we got group teleport. Teleport all players in a given area. That's not it. So nothing here to do with teams. So what about checkpoint? Checkpoint, message to send, broadcast type. We have teams here in broadcast type. Maybe it was in teleport as well. I didn't really check that. Give me a second. Message on finish, broadcast type. We have team here as well. And you do team 1, team 2, team 3, whatever you're allocated. But that's message sent on finish. So that's not what you're probably looking for. And broadcast type here, so message interact, message to send, and again it sends a team message, but nothing to teleport a team member to here specifically. So I don't know too much more other than that, except that you can't allocate the team number to the player. You can do it manually. I do show this in previous streams where you can use a collectible, and then that collectible assigns a avatar a local variable, and you can use that local variable as a team number. So there are workarounds, but for what you're asking with the spawn point and the team thing, is just not something that I'm familiar with. I haven't played around with it. Maybe we can keep it in and see what happens, but I don't know what to do with the teams, to be honest. A thing I would probably use is maybe a projectile And here you can send a message, right? So a message on collision can be like health, and you can lose 20 health. And I don't think you can allocate tag, maybe. So apply gravity, message on collision, edit logic. Okay, so broadcast type is team. So I guess you can decrease damage to a team. But again, there's no like team drop down menu, so you can't say team 1, team 2, team 3. It just says team. So I think there's something missing for that, because I would imagine collision target team. Here we go. So collision target, you probably want here collided actors, so the thing that it hits. And collision target, you can have like team 1, team 2, team 3. So you can have weapons for team 1 and weapons for team 2. And weapons for team 1 can only damage players in team 2. And weapons for team 2 can only damage players to team 1 if you rig it up with the projectile and use an East team. Again, you can't pick who is on what team, but you can at least allocate some damage to different teams based on weapons that got this attached to it. You just save this as a preset. So you can say here T1 damage, and now when you bring this out in an asset spawner to shoot, it will only damage team 1 players. So that's probably one way you could use that behavior. And message type. But yeah, we'll play around with single player stuff today and test it out in multiplayer. See how it goes. Hey Codcuts, welcome to the stream. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is just add a whole bunch of logic, and then we'll make it trigger some things, and we'll get people to test it out and see if it affects everybody the same, or if it's just individualized. You guys probably, some of you guys will already have done this test, but we'll see how it goes. How can we give a tag to a player? Can we do that? No, it is something I have requested for a while now. The only thing you can do here is player, and then when you do a custom avatar, you can just say do that. Avatar name, controller. You're able to put tags on the player here. Maybe it's on here now. So tags, maybe that's not for spawning. Tags to assign the player's avatar upon spawning. So you can add a specific tag to an avatar when they spawn in, but that is for all avatars. So you won't be able to say put team 1 have this tag and team 2 to have this tag, I don't think. Says tags to assign the player's avatar upon spawning. Now I don't know if spawning here means that once they're loaded into the experience, or if they can get, if they die and then they get spawned here. Yeah, no, it would be when they're loading into experience. So everyone will have the same tag, so you can't individualize tags. And you can't remove tags once the player is loaded in. It is something I have asked for as a feature, because I think there will be uses for it for sure. Alright, so what I have discovered with multiplayer Asker. So if we go to Asker, and we have multiplayer, I believe some instances it breaks, and once one player uses it, it can't be used again, and I don't know if that's true with all cases. I just heard other people tell me about it. But what I do know is that when one player is using the asker, other players cannot interact with it until the other player is finished. I don't know if that's still the case, but we can test that out for sure. So asker MP, and what we can do, say this is an MP asker, testing to see how it reacts. Okay. And we don't need to have a second message, or we don't need a message to be sent out after it's been selected. So that's not a problem. What I will do is put an indicator on it. So when we're looking at this inside the experience, we know what this is. So this will be MP asker. And we'll edit the logic. And we'll make it visible. Yeah, we'll say 25 blocks away. Cool. So now when I go over here and I press E, you can see that it's just got the MP asker indicator above, and just the normal asker pops up. Bear with me one moment, please. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we'll set up one for single player. So I'm going to go Control D, and I'm going to go ahead and just remove these indicators and put a single player one on, and also with the asker. We have interact, and we'll say SP asker. And we'll just put in some options, and we'll actually send a message out for this one. So we'll just say send one, whatever, doesn't really matter what we put in here. And we'll have a SP asker for this one. And we'll go ahead and put a speaker on this. So we'll have a single player speaker, and we'll put in single player speaker, and we'll have the message send one, right? So that can last for 5 seconds, and that should all be good. Now I'll duplicate this, and we're going to add a multiplayer speaker. Same thing, but we'll just see if this message gets sent out to both. And can you see both of them, or can you only see the multiplayer one when someone else triggers it? We'll find all that out in our test. Cool. All right, so next, what do we have here? MP. Maybe I should do this as well for the MP. So here we go. So MP asker. And we'll duplicate these ones, bring it over here, and this one here will be SP speaker, and we'll add that message, and MP speaker, we'll add this message. Cool. So I'll go ahead and save that, and we'll just quickly check to make sure the labels are correct and we can see it. And then we'll move on to spawning asset spawners, and we'll see how that reacts in a multiplayer game as well. So this is an SP asker, and they both trigger. Now they both require the same message, and they both trigger. And same with this one, and they both trigger. And that's expected in the editor. But if you're a third party watching this player interact, what do you see when it comes to the speaker activations? That's what we're going to look at as well. All right, next we're going to duplicate. And this one here is going to be wait, maybe I'll keep the indicator on. And this one here is going to be an asset spawner type. So we'll go ahead and put in an asker. It will be single player. And for this one here, we're going to say this is a SP asker to SP asset spawner. And we'll have an OK. And we'll put in a message. SP asset spawner will do. We'll go ahead and duplicate these, even though we're not going to be using those behaviors. Just saves me plonking down things again. And what we can do here is have an asset spawner, and that asset spawner is just going to use that message, and we'll create a preset for this one. Same with this, we're going to add a asset spawner, and that asset spawner is going to be a multiplayer one. And same thing, we'll use a preset. We'll get rid of the only once, so we can do this anytime we want. And we'll bring out an asset that is collectible. So we'll test to see if it comes out for all players and what happens when someone collects it. So go ahead and put a collectible on this one. And we have SP and MP collectible. So we're going to check both out and see what happens. Hey Dankoy, welcome to the stream. So we've got SP collectible, and this one here is going to send out a message, SP collect, and we'll just send that to all. And we'll save that as SP collect. Go ahead and save. And we'll do a duplication. And this one here will be a multiplayer collect. And same thing, this will just be MP collect. And we'll save this one as MP collect. Cool beans, cool beans. Now we'll bring these out of the asset spawners. So SP collect for this one, and we have MP collect for this one. And just make sure that we have an indicator that says SP, or we can just say, yeah, SP asker to asset spawners. What we'll do now is we'll duplicate this, and we'll change this from a single player asker to a multiplayer asker. And we'll see if this makes any difference. So MP asker to spawner. It could be whatever message you choose. And here we will have MP asker, which will do a single player collect. And same with this one, which will be a multiplayer collect. And we can send out a message once that is collected to the rule system, and we can do local variables and global variables. We can do that a bit later on. We'll keep adding some more logic first for the purposes of testing. Because if we can individualize collectibles and askers and triggers, then we can use those know-hows to make our games a bit better, because we'll know what tools we're working with and how they behave, which is half the battle. All right, so what else we got? We got bird behavior. All right, cool. I shouldn't be adding it to the panel. We'll keep it as an asker. And what we can do here is we can put the bird behaviors on this. So again, we'll put the bird behavior here, and this one here will be bird but multiplayer. We keep all the height and the width just down to as small as possible. And same with this one. Just keep it something like that. Edit the logic, and what we'll do here is toggle. So we'll have it off and we'll toggle on. I'll just say toggle bird. We'll toggle the bird, and here we'll do the same but for multiplayer. We'll take it off and we'll toggle the bird. And what we can do here is we can duplicate this. And what we can do here is have a timed event. And timed event is also single player, multiplayer. So we can have toggle bird. And then after, say, 5 seconds, we could say toggle SP off. And we'll go ahead and toggle this one off, and we'll duplicate this and bring it over here, and we'll make this one a multiplayer timed. Same message, same everything, except toggle MP off. And we'll go ahead and put that on this bird to see if it triggers that one. And the message we're sending is toggle bird, so just make sure that the asker here is sending out our message, toggle bird. And we can say toggle bird here. Awesome. Go ahead and save that one. And there's a few more single player behaviors and components we could check out just to see how it works in multiplayer. So I'll duplicate this one. We'll keep the asker again. And we don't have indicators on these, so I'm going to go ahead and add indicators. And this one here is for collectibles. So this one here is MP collectible. And that one here, we can just shorten that. That's not a problem. That should be fine. And this one here, indicator SP asker to asset spawners. And I'll probably just copy and paste that and just make that MP. Cool. This one here is SP asker. This one should be MP asker. This one here is the bird one, so I'm going to add the indicator so when we're in the instance we can see what it's all about before we click it. Alright, next we're going to check out, let's duplicate this, we'll get rid of what's on it, and we have collectibles. We've got light as well. I don't know if you can have an individual light. We can test that out, that'd be cool. individual raycast and toggles. So maybe we can try out a toggle. Sorry, a trigger. And a trigger here, we can just go ahead and make it something like that. I will put a box area here so we know to step on it. And here we can say volume.1. And what we can do here is we can send it to you can't send it to the rules. It doesn't have rules. So I think that answers that question. So it's just all. And if we duplicate this one, maybe we can just make it a bit further apart so we don't overlap. And we'll put the volume as multiplayer. Here we got rules. So volume 1, we can say volume.2. Whoops. And that should go to the rules with whoever triggers it. This one here doesn't go to the rules. So I guess it has to be an MP behavioral component. But what we can do here is we can test to see if volume 1 can be sent to a speaker, which then goes to the rules. And we'll see what happens when that is triggered. And we can say add 1 to the rules. Look at target. Okay, we'll go ahead to the rule system now. And we're going to add a variable here. And that will be a global number. And we're going to add a math rule here. So once we trigger add 1, which comes from the MP speaker, which is triggered from the single player volume, we'll see if it actually adds 1. So 1 plus 1, I don't know, equals add 1. As long as there's some sort of change. So we're going to add 1 to whatever this variable is. And we're going to have a rule to display that HUD. So maybe we could have this one here. We can probably have a multiplayer volume, and here we can say toggle HUD, and when you enter, it's going to send it to all, and the detection can be, I don't know, like 2 or 3, and toggle HUD will be sent to the rules, and then we can add a number anywhere really. It doesn't really matter for this example. And yeah, you can change whatever icon you want, doesn't really matter. And that should be fine. I'm going to go ahead and save that one, and we'll quickly run around in it and see if the toggle and all these things trigger. And then we'll test out the light. I don't know what we can do with the light, but we'll check it out. So you can see the single player does work. And that's using a single player volume, which then goes to a multiplayer speaker, which then goes to the rule system. And I don't know if this will be for everyone. So what I can do here is we can individualize it, because right now it's going to a global number. What we can do here is put a local. And the same thing here, we can say this one is global. And then we can add another one here, which will be local. And add one is adding one to that. And what we can do is duplicate this one, and add one is adding one to local, which gives a total for local. And you can see as soon as you pick a local number, player needed pops up, whereas it's not here. Now if we go ahead and test that one out just here in the editor, you can see top is global, left is local. And it's looking good. Now the speaker has a delay, so go ahead and reduce that one so we can send messages faster. And since this works, I don't think we really need a use case for the multiplayer trigger. Definitely know that works. Go ahead and delete that. And now with the collection, so we're going to go ahead and collect something, and that collection is going to send out a message MP collect and SP collect. So go ahead and again we're going to add here, we can use the same variables actually. Whoops, I was about to delete that. What we can do here is duplicate the map, and we can say SP collect, and we're going to add one to our local number. And for this one here, we can duplicate, and we can add one using MP collect. And this will give us a chance to see if collecting those objects in multiplayer, which we can just tick up there anyway, will work. So we'll go ahead and make this no collisions and invisible. Go ahead and save that, and we'll quickly test it out again. And then I'll share a link, and then we can all go in and just double check. Alright, so we have SP, which adds one to my local, and then I got MP, which adds one to global, and here we got, this is an SP asker to an SP asset spawner, and it works, but it doesn't bring out this one, which is expected. And then the multiplayer one only triggers the multiplayer one, and it goes to global. Single player goes to single player, and multiplayer goes to multiplayer. Now, does this work like this in a client, which is what we need to test? And what do you guys see? So we've got the SP bird, and we're probably going to need to add the MP bird as well. So we'll go ahead and just quickly move that over, and we'll call that SP toggle. I'll go ahead and duplicate that, and we're going to add an MP asker and an MP indicator, and we'll just label it as such. Because if we can spawn individual assets from a single player asset spawner and no one else can see it or collect it, that will be pretty handy for a lot of games. This was not possible in the previous versions before 0.10, and I haven't really tested it out in this version as of yet. Knowing that it didn't work before, it would be worth testing now to see if that's been changed. I'll go ahead and share a link, or should I just add a couple more things? Weather. I think weather is for everybody. Let me just check. I don't think we can individualize the weather. So if we change an atmosphere, I think it changes for everyone. I believe that's the case. Wait for message. Message will be interact. Yep. And we can say indicator. Nighttime. And duplicate weather switcher. And this one will be daytime, and we just switch this over to neutral. You do have to stop the previous one before you can try testing the next one. As you can see, it did not override it. Alright, so I'm going to change that grass block on the ground. Not necessary, but you know, it's doing my head in. I like uniformal. I don't know why this block is defaulted in the taskbar when it's not the one being used on the ground. Makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. Hi Ian, welcome to the stream. Alright, so I'm going to share a link, guys, so if anyone wants to hop in just to help test to see how all these things react in the client. Then we could discuss ideas based on the results. So go ahead and copy that, and I'll paste it in chat. There you go. And I'm going to load in myself. Logged in on the wrong account, so I'm just going to go into my proper account. Alright, and we'll give that a play. Open launcher. I haven't updated the launcher in a few days. Hopefully there's no update, but we'll see how it goes. And my launcher isn't opening. Let's try that again. Download the launcher to play and stay up to date with the latest version of the game. Well, I've got the launcher. Let me move this over here and see where it's at. It says application not found. Maybe I accidentally uninstalled it? Don't think I did. And let's just reinstall it, see what happens. I may have deleted the app data folder and accidentally deleted something here that was crucial. Doesn't matter, we can quickly install this one. It's nice and easy, and it's a small file, which is really good. kangaroo internet, so sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's not. And I don't have the most expensive plan, so the ones that are cost more usually download faster for me. But I'm tight. I don't pay for the most expensive. Alright, so we're going to log in. There we go. And we're going to install the launcher. It looks like it wasn't installed. And this launcher is really cool. It would be nice to have launch Game Maker, launch VoxEdit, and just have it all in this one program that auto updates both VoxEdit and Game Maker, and we can all just launch this program before we launch the other programs, and just have it all neat in the one window. But you know, maybe down the track. Check out some news. I haven't really checked this out. Yes, there's a game jam coming up. Make sure you register for this game jam. It's got some nice rewards, even 20 lands. So if you're a creator and you don't have any land to publish, I recommend joining a game jam. You have a good chance of getting a land, and you can use that land to publish a game for the next Builders Challenge. So announcements will be coming up for the next Builders Challenge soon, and it would be nice to have a land ready for that so you can start earning some coin. How are we going? 67%. What else is going on in the news? Sandbox news. Hotel, Space Hotel. That's a lot of sand for avatar owners, so there's some cool stuff to check out. Hamster Doodles collection. Okay. And join the Metaverse. Don't know what this banner is accomplishing. Discover, earn, create, explore the metaverse and discover hundreds of experience, join events and have fun and earn unique rewards. Okay, that should be the first page, right? It is what it is. Alright, so this now is up and running. I'm going to go ahead and click my link again. Hopefully it loads this time. Looks like it's opening. All right, nice and easy. All right, loading in. As you can see, loading in is a lot faster than it used to be. So that's a big plus. We don't have to wait as long now to join up and all those little loading bits. Look how quick that was. Really good. There's already people in here. Hey guys. All right, I see that we have global already set to 3. So what I want to do here is if someone can trigger this, the SP Asker, I want to see if one of you guys interact with it, if I can see what pops up. Go ahead and click that thing. So if you've already clicked it, I can't see anything. And if it's spawned for you, can you go and collect it? All right, I'm assuming that worked for you, and you've got now a local of 1 or an additional added 1. And I am jumping on the spawner here to see if I can collect your guys' spawns. But I'm guessing nothing's there, so it's just happening for you. Let me check now. So there is a collection there now, and only I can collect it. Yeah, but the local counter is still 0. That's because I don't think single player can talk to the rules. So maybe if this collection goes to a speaker, like we have over here, it might work. So I'm guessing here there's single player toggle bird and a multiplayer toggle bird. Can you guys trigger this? One each. And I want to see if the multiplayer works if someone triggers it. And I want to see if single player bird just keeps still for me. So the multiplayer toggle bird is not moving either, I'm guessing. Let me see if the single player one works. Yes, it is. Very good. But the multiplayer one isn't working. So even if you trigger it, it's not moving, right? But the single player one works for me. Interesting. So if I click the multiplayer one, maybe I don't have this correct. Let me have a look into the editor. Yeah, I don't have a message here, so I didn't do this one properly. But that would work because multiplayer will trigger multiplayer. So that's good. Looks like the weather affects everyone. So if you switch it from day to night, everyone gets switched from day to night. So there's no single player option for this one. So the weather and post-processing happens for everybody. Now this one here, it worked in the editor where the single player volume went to the multiplayer speaker, which then added 1 to my local. But you can see here it doesn't work in the client. So the client won't allow you to add 1 to the rules going from so if we go here in the editor, okay, it doesn't work in here either. I'm pretty sure it worked before, unless that was before I clicked the multiplayer option. So that one, it was volume 1, and this one here is volume 1, which then adds 1 to rules, and then we go to rules and it's add 1, and it doesn't work. Cool, that's good to know. What else we got? So this is the MP asker and single player asker. So I'll go ahead and press E. I can press E on that one, and I see the multiplayer speaker. So with the single player one, I can see this speaker trigger. Can you guys trigger it? Alright, so I saw Ian trigger that one and it popped up. And Ian will pop up this one, and I can't see the speaker because it's a single player only action. Alright. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm not feeling too well, so doing the best I can. So what does this mean? So that means you can have messages and things pop up based on the player action without showing the message to anybody else. So that allows collectibles as well. So you can have a collectible pop up after a quest is complete, like a quest reward, and you can collect that quest reward. It can be gear that you can equip. It could be gear that you can equip that will trigger NFT sensor or add things to the rule system. But what I need to test out now is the collectibles. So the collectible there does give me a global variable. But what I want to test out is, can I bring out a multiplayer? Let's do that. I'm going to exit this, guys. And I'm going to make some changes here. So what I want to do here is with the single player asset spawner, we can do asset spawner. We know the multiplayer doesn't come out, so we'll go ahead and delete that. But what I'll do is I'll duplicate this one, and the SP collect, I want to do MP collect. So what we're doing now is we're using a single player asker to bring out an asset spawner with a single player asset spawner with the SP collect, and a single player asset spawner with the MP collect. And I want to see if the MP collect is still individualized, and this will allow us to have the player collect something which then interacts with the rule system. So we'll go ahead and test that one out. Is there anything else I should add, guys, that you want to see? Dankoi says it's possible to have an asker that open to all players and experience same time. It doesn't look like it. So this one here is the multiplayer asker, and when someone triggered it, it did display this speaker for everybody, but this asker did not pop up for everybody. Now if we want to test that out, your idea, what I can do for this one is have here as a everybody asker, and what we can do is just call that e-asker. Okay, this should trigger for everyone. Okay, so we're going to send out the message e-asker, and we'll go ahead now and make this a volume trigger, and we'll say trigger e-asker, and we're going to cover the whole map, so just go we, and we've got everyone involved, and we'll go ahead and save this as a preset. And we'll go ahead and delete that. So when e-asker is sent, we could duplicate this, and we'll just bring it in the middle of the map. It's going to be an asset spawner, and an asset spawner is going to be listening for e-asker, and we're going to bring out the preset trigger e-asker. And that trigger e-asker is going to send out a message. Let me go back to the preset. So this one's going to be trigger e-asker, and we'll just duplicate this, and we'll have a asker here which is multiplayer, and it's going to be trigger e-asker. I think that's what we're doing here. Message required, and this will come out, and then this one will go here and say everybody should see this. And we can keep that here. This one here is a asset spawner, so that's fine, and we'll put this one offset so we can see when it pops out. So when we have a numpad in front of it, we know it's popped out and it's worked, and we'll go ahead and delete this one, and this one here will be the everybody asker, and we can put this down here so we can see that. And for this is the bird, right? I want to add activate MP bird. Okay, I just want to make sure we can all see it, and we'll say MP bird, and we'll toggle MP bird, and we'll also turn it off after 5 seconds. What did we do? We added the SP collect and MP collect. So this one here, the third one, is what we want to be testing. So I'm going to bring this forward a bit so we know that's the one that we want to check out. And we'll save this, and I'll send out another link. Hold on, just in case there's more. 0.8 ask how interact, use imagery message works like speaker. Okay. Okay, perfect. Throwing a couple of wolves in there. Alright, for some attacking purposes. Sounds good. And I'll make a new wolf pop out after this one dies, so we can do multiple tests. And we will... Why was it an asset spawner by default on that? That's pretty funny. Alright, so we've got health. We got here MP health. And this one here will be SP health, and we can go ahead and bring these out with asset spawners. So single player asset spawner and multiplayer asset spawner, and when this thing dies, we'll make it lower health so we don't have to hit it forever. Instant death message is SP wolf. Actually, no, that's not it. What we need to do here is message sent on death, SP wolf, and just say to all, and we'll bring it out here. We'll make sure we save this as a preset. And this one here will be MP wolf. I know how creative. We go all, and we'll put that here as well, but we'll save this as a preset. Awesome. So here we're going to bring out our preset SP wolf with the message SP wolf. So once we kill it, it's going to come back out again. We'll make this one no collisions in case it has some sort of issues. Same with this one. So again, we'll make this one MP wolf, and we'll bring out our MP wolf. Perfect. We'll just make this 40 health as well. Just make sure it's all good. Okay, we've got a couple of wolves now. Anything else we should add? Maybe we'll do another test to see how this reacts, and maybe we can add a couple of more extra things. I'm guessing the multi and avoid work for everybody. Checking out that tank game and all sorts of things. So if we add extra blocks using multi and remove blocks with void, that happens for everybody, and there's no glitching issue that used to happen. I'm guessing 22 minutes. You cannot generate another link until this one expires. So does that mean this will go into the same experience? We'll find out. All right. So I've sent the link again in chat. Let's load in. Now I want to know if the link I sent out updated with the save file. I don't know if it has or not, but let's check it out. This is a good test because it didn't give me a new link. It's still ticking with the old timer. So I don't know if it's updated or not. But let's test it out. And also, what happens if someone stays in the experience while I'm updating it? I guess we'll find out when we load in. Yeah, so you guys were already in here, but it hasn't given me my new data. Okay, that's a pain, and that is something that we should have a close or expire button here, and then be able to do a new one. But let's cheat the system because, you know, it's what we do here. Duplicate and reshare. Exactly. That is cheating the system. So SP to MP2. So this should give us a new link because it's technically a new map, and this would probably bypass that issue. But that's something I'll report to the devs to see if we can refresh that link, because you don't want to do one test every 45 minutes, especially if you're doing what we're doing right now, where we just want to add a few things and check it, and then change a few things and check it. So we'll go ahead and generate a link. And this link here will be the new one. So leave the old one if you're still in it, and get ready for this new link, which will now be the updated one. All right, see you in there. All right, loading in now. Yeah, I haven't tested the attacking feature in multiplayer. I think PvE is now functional. So this will be good to test the wolves, so that was a good suggestion. Alright, we're in. Alright, so what we're going to do here is check this spawner. And can you guys see any of those? Can someone trigger this for me? Alright, so you can see both and I can't see any. So that's good. But the MP didn't trigger the variable in a rule system. I'm guessing that's because it come out of a single player asset spawner. Let me just tab back in. So we've got the MP collect, and this is the MP collect. Message on collect is MP collect. Alright, so I didn't add that message here to add one. So what I need to do here is have a local number and a global number to see if I can add to the global and local. Wait, I do. I have MP collect here. What am I talking about? So I've got MP collect, which will add one to add one, which is a global. So because it come out of a single player asset spawner, it didn't add to the global. But if I change this, so this one here is actually going to a local variable. Will that work? I guess. What'd you say? Everybody see works. So what about the asker? This asker here is not working for everybody. So when I press E, I can't see it until you stop using it. So if I'm using it now, Dankoy, you can't use this, right? So I've got my asker up. I'm guessing you can't interact with this until I'm finished. So I'm guessing no one can use this asker. Can anyone confirm? Okay. So you can't use this asker when I'm using it. Okay, perfect, thank you. So now that I've let go, can you use it now? So I'm guessing it's one at a time. Was working after you left, yeah. All right, perfect. So that means with, let's go back to the editor. With MP askers, with interact, when one person is using it, it doesn't work for anybody else. So you're saying that an asker popped up for you when someone else used it. So this come out and triggered the asker for you once. Okay. Let me go and check this out. We're going to trigger eAsker, which is the thing that pops out. Let me just have a look at the settings. Broadcast type once, which is fine. Trigger asker. We're probably still in the bubble. And even though the new one's popping out, it's probably not triggering. Ah, here we go. Asset spawner only once. So I'm going to turn that off and I'll delete that. So that's one thing we can check. So we know now the askers only work one at a time. This should still work for everybody. So we can test it out with a new one. And now we've added here a new rule for MP collect. So using an SP spawner to bring out an MP collect, which only the SP can see, can add to the rule system. We can't add it to a global rule system, as we've already tested that here with add one, but maybe we can add to the local. So we're going to test that out now. What about the wolves? Haven't tested the wolves. Ah, you can't left click to attack? I thought we had PvE in this game. I seriously thought we had left click and right click for multiplayer. I guess we don't. Alright. What I'll do now is I'm going to update this map again so we can check the new changes we just made. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to duplicate the experience and send you guys a new link. You might have to turn on PvE. Ah, you have to turn it on. Alright, let me see where that can be found. Camera, ambience, not here. Player, it might be at the portal, right? Controller. Ah, PvE enabled. Okay, let me add that to true. It is an option. Thank you for that. It's good to know that you can turn that off as well. So if you want to use the left and right click for the rules system where you can trigger rules, then you won't have that attacking and blocking animation. So that's actually quite cool. All right, let me go back to the main menu. I'll duplicate the experience and give us a new link. Duplicate, and it'll be SP to MP3. Add gems increase HP or damage? No, not that I'm aware of. I think that's been removed. So all the options now are increased. So the health is not, like for instance, health is not 100 anymore. It's 200. Or what was it, 50? It was 50 before, wasn't it? So you can see now that all those things that require gems no longer require gems. And they use the same stats, apparently. That was like legendary gems, but I remember having more than 200 health for a legendary gem in the past, so I don't know. Can't tell ya. Message sent, MP Wolf and SP Wolf. Should we test to see if killing a wolf adds to the rule system? We'll go ahead and check that too, right? So we'll go ahead and duplicate this, and we'll say MP Wolf. And we're going to add one to our local, and we'll duplicate this one, and this one here will be MP SP Wolf. Sorry, this one will be MP Wolf. The other one will be SP Wolf. So this one will add to our local, this one will add to a global, and we'll see if that works. This one here needs player needed, so I don't think that SP will work because killing a wolf is not SP, but we're going to keep it in there anyway for the sakes of testing. And then we'll test to see if this multiplayer triggers for everyone. I was alt-tabbed when that first one happened, and it wasn't there when I alt-tabbed back in, so I wonder if someone selecting an answer actually selected it for everybody. But let's generate a new link. And now we have attacking, we have fixed the messages for the MP coming out of the SP asset spawner. Yeah, I remember my legendary had like 1,000 health as well. So I guess they haven't really. Here's a new link to join in. See you in there. I guess they haven't really given the full stats as promised in meetings, but that's something we can discuss with them. I'm sure just changing a variable in the next update is quite easy for them. If we have a need to have more health on things, I'm sure that's something that we can get pushed as an update. You think gems for increase still active? Maybe. I've been told it wasn't, and it was being removed, so if you find it's different, let me know. This is for Polygon assets. Maybe the old legacy Ethereum assets will be different. So yeah, I can attack now, which is great. Let's see if killing the wolves do anything. So nothing was added to the rules here. Alright, killing a wolf did add one to global for me. I'm guessing you can see one in global up the top now as well, so that should affect everyone the same. So if you kill that wolf, it should be 2 for me. Yep, that affected everybody, so that's good. Now here's the asset spawner. I should be able to have this one here affect my local. It didn't really work. So even though this here is MP, because it comes out of an SP asset spawner, just going to double check that. MP collect to all, yeah. So because it comes out of a single player asset spawner, the multiplayer collect from it doesn't trigger the rule system. So there's a limitation. Now if I push this one, Do you guys all see this message? Everybody should see this. Do you guys have that? Nope. Alright. So I guess it doesn't work for everybody. Why don't you push it, Dankoi, see if it works. Ah, it popped up for me. Look at that. See, I got an asker now. I didn't trigger that. You triggered that. Why on my screen is your avatar a dude with a peace sign on his shirt and his head is backwards? I have no idea. Well, the old dude with the peace sign is my metaverse avatar, but I should be using the same avatar as you guys. Alright, so let me spawn this again. I'm going to push it now. Do you guys have that message? I'm guessing they ask it in a pop-up for you. Can you take a screenshot and send that to me? That sounds funny. So we've got a bit of weird behavior happening. It would be nice if the multiplayer collectible that come out of a single player asset spawner worked. So that means players can individually do tasks which then contribute to the team without anyone else interfering with the collectible. So it appeared only once for me. So if you trigger it again, it's not going to work anymore. Is that what you're saying? You want to trigger this again and see if it pops up for me. Yeah, it doesn't pop up anymore. It only worked once, and the actual e-asker, which is here, doesn't have only once on, so it should be triggering each time. Interesting. Single player bird and multiplayer bird. I'm guessing you can see the multiplayer bird moving, but not the single player bird. So the single player bird should still be in its original position. Multiplayer bird should be able to see it being moved. Yeah, removing the old one and adding a delete for it probably would work, because we're in this whole bubble with the same message still being triggered. But then we bring out a new one, and a new one is a new one, right? And it should re-trigger that same message regardless of us being in the bubble of the old one. Very interesting. Yeah, I can see the multiplayer work, but you can't see the single player work. So I can't see any of these messages, but you should be able to see this one, right? Yep. So I can see the multiplayer speaker from the multiplayer asker, but the single player one is exclusive. So you can show messages and codes and things like that to the individual. You can have single player assets come out. but the multiplayer one does not speak with the rules system coming out of a single player asset spawner. And then we have multiplayer asset spawner, but I'm guessing everyone can see that. So there's a collectible there, right? You guys can see that collectible? Maybe trigger this and see if I can see it and see if I can collect it. Yep. Okay, that works as intended. So what that means is that we can have group collectibles which then affect the rule system, but we can have single player collectibles which don't talk to the rule system. Maybe we can do something additional with this one, but coming out of an asset spawner that's single player kind of breaks the chain that allows the avatar to collect it and affect a rule system. Even though it is a preset and it's now separate from the asset spawner, it still doesn't want to talk to the rule system after it's collected, which is quite strange. I'll put that bug report in. So if NFT sensor, I can't spawn SP for a single player. Let me check NFT sensor. I think NFT, yeah, because it's popping out of a single player. It can only come out of a multiplayer. And I think NFT sensor is only a multiplayer function, right? Let me just check. Is that a component? Yeah, so it's only a multiplayer function. Let me know how you go with that one. But I think anything that comes out of a single player spawn, we know it doesn't affect the rules. Maybe it could work for NFT sensor. Let me know how you go with that one. We know the killing of the wolf works for a global variable in a rule system, but not the single player wolf, because it requires a action for local. Let me know how you go with those tests. So we know now weather switches are only for multiplayer for everybody. It's affected. We know bird, we have single player bird working, multiplayer bird everyone sees. We have spawning spawning assets using a multiplayer asker and spawning assets with a single player asker. I wonder if I change this one here to multiplayer asker, so the multiplayer asker will trigger the single player asset spawners, will then the multiplayer work? Because it's originally coming from a multiplayer. Let's test that out. I'm going to go ahead and change this one to a asker. This will be the last test. This one here will be MP to SP. Testing MP to SP to MP collectible. And be like, okay. And we say, okay, okay. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. And this one here will bring the MP out. This one here will bring the SP out. And that's okay. That's okay. And this one here. Alright, so I want to do this one last test. And I'll bring out, I'll kill off the asker here. So this one here is triggering, And after it triggers, we can have a plant that kills it. So this one here, everyone should see this. It'll be like kill plant. So after we say OK, it will remove this one. And this one here is our trigger eAsker. And we'll delete that. And I think we're good. I'll save this one. I'm going to hop out of this one. We'll duplicate the experience, so this will be the last test for this stream. And if this works here, where the MP asker is sending out to the SP, and it's individualized and it talks to the rule system, that gives us a nice little gameplay that we can add to future experiences being made. Alright, let's load up SP4, and this will be the last test. And I wanted to test this for a while now, so this was a good opportunity for all of us to experiment, see what's going on with single player behaviors and components, and see how it works in client. And hopefully this gives us some ideas. Here's the link to join in. It gives us some ideas for our future games. It might be interesting for Builders Challenge and game jams, where you're building a multiplayer experience but still want to have a chain of single player actions and individualize it. Thanks for the sending of the pic. I'll check that out now. My body and my arms aren't even attached. What's going on here? Look at this. That's very odd. That is very odd indeed. But I like it. Alright, we're in. So let's do this test first. So MP to SP. So MP doesn't trigger SP behaviors. So it looks like this action does not work. So we can't even trigger SP stuff from MP, which I think is general knowledge, but it was still worth the test to see if it would work. Next we have this asker here. I would like someone else to trigger this one to see if it works for everybody. It did pop out, but it didn't pop up for me. Let me use it now. It didn't work this time. Did I change something? Did I stuff something up? So we got the trigger asker for all big sphere. Trigger eAsker should go here. Yep. That's kind of strange. Because we added the plant, now it's not triggering for anybody. very odd. So removing the plant, everyone will see it, but only once. Bit of inconsistency here. It would be a bug to report. But killing a wolf gives everybody one global point and it respawns, so that all works. PvE works, or a bit of lag issue there. We know the plant works. It does disappear. But see, it disappears, but it requires a message from this asker. So someone must have a pop-up where they're clicking OK. I can see the pop-up even when somebody else triggers it, but not immediately, I think. I see, because I see the spawner come out, and the only way it should delete is when someone presses OK from the asker. So it's popping up from someone. I think my doggy wants to get into the room. That's alright. It's the end of the stream, so I'll look after the doggy now. But thanks for the tests, guys. I think we all learnt something here, and we got more questions than answers, more things to test. And I don't understand the triggering of the asker for everybody, because it's one volume triggering everybody at the same time. It doesn't look like that asker pops up for everyone. But yeah, that was fun. GG. Oh, nice. How'd you bring that up? I haven't really used all that stuff. Is it this stuff? No. How'd you bring up the emoji? I might have to look into that later. But thanks for tuning in. This was more of an experimental stream. Scroll page with mouse scroll. I don't see the GG ones. I guess you can assign them. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and helping out with the experiment. I did learn a lot in this stream. It's given me stuff to think about. And we know now we can trigger single player askers to bring out single player collectibles from single player asset spawners, which means we can have individual quests with individual rewards, but can't affect the rule system. So they only pop out of multiplayer, and then only then can they affect a rule system. But yeah, GG. And I'll be back same time next week, and we can do a few more experiments, maybe make a game. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye-bye.